Hello, welcome to the course intro video for Smalley's Math 2415 course, second half term summer 2022. All right, so let's begin here and let's see what we can do to kind of help guide your way through the course a little bit, because sometimes it's not sure what to do when you're in an online course and how to kind of get things started. So let's get to D2L and take a look around at all the content and everything I've put in there for you. And let's see, now there's a couple of ways you can get there. You can go right through here at My Lone Star, or you can go this route, which is d2l.lonestar.edu. You don't need the rest of that stuff there, but that's another way you can get in there. So it is possible that if there's a problem with My Lone Star, some glitch or something, you can still get into D2L with this backdoor method. Now, this secure login, I believe, takes you straight to My Lone Star, just like that other web page would have. But this bottom one right here, alternate login, that's just a straight path to D2L. I realize that some of you, are maybe familiar with D2L, but I'm sure a lot of you are not. All right, well, let's see. I could change this to student mode here. I may go back and forth, but let's see. It's not letting me. Let's see. Let me try it. All right, well, I can't seem to get that to work right. Maybe when I get into the course. All right, so here's our course right down here. It's student mode, just shows it from the way you see it. Oh, here we go. All right. All right. Okay, very similar, but so I've already put a little intro. The course opened at 1 a.m. today. And so I'll put a little intro in there that shows a link to the syllabus, which you're about to see the syllabus here in a minute. And I'm sure I'll put another announcement here when this video is ready. All right, so let's the main things, areas of concern, for this course are content. Now, grades, I say area of concern, it's just everything's going to be kind of submitted electronically, so there shouldn't be any errors or anything, but obviously you can go check your grades from time to time. But content's where all the course materials is. And this one down here, quizzes, that's where you'll submit your quizzes, and that's where you'll take your exams both. So we'll come back to that in a little bit. So there's really nothing else in here that you'll be using. We won't be using any like drop boxes or anything like that. So let's begin here. Let's go to content. Just kind of show you around a little bit. And so you'll see later here that the course video link, I'll put it right in there beneath the syllabus, or maybe above it, but just somewhere right in here. So we've got this little folder, syllabus, textbook, and other items. So first thing I'm going to do is kind of run through the syllabus. This will be sitting there the entire time. I'm not going to read this to you verbatim. I'm just going to kind of hit the highlights of it. So let's see what we have here. Now I can download this, so I don't have to kind of scroll on that minimum screen, which means any file I have in here, you can do that. You can download and take anything you want from here, as far as like notes and all kinds of stuff. All right, let's zoom in a little bit here. Usually I find some sort of little typo on here, but let's see. So far it looks okay. Catalog description, student learning outcomes. I'm obviously not going to sit here and read all of these right now, but you'll see that we'll be going through this as the course goes on. Calculator, well, since, these talk more about that later. I guess you can kind of use any calculator you want, but if proctoring was involved, I would kind of limit what calculators could be used. I can't really do that now, but let's see. This is the official textbook, which you don't really need that. You can use any textbook you want that covers. Now, some calculus textbooks are, if they say like one variable on them, that means they're only up through Cal 2. But just a regular calculus book should go through all these Calculus 3 content, so you can use that. You don't have to have this book. There'll be no assignments that are submitted directly from that textbook. I'm going to show you a way you can use another PDF file as a textbook, so you don't have to get that book. We're not going to be using WebAssign, but if you already have it, certainly you can use it, but don't think you necessarily need to have to get this book. And I'll show you the other thing I was talking about when we go back to D2L. All right, I don't know. Well, obviously there's no attendance here, blah, blah, blah. Late work makeup, let's see. Official day of record is 7/18. W day 8/9/22. Okay, stuff here. You can read this. Anti-racism, that's wonderful. So I don't think I need to read that to you, though. All right, conflict resolution. So you see a lot of this. I'm not going to sit here and read it to you and waste your time. Of course, you can always ask me questions about something that may not be clear. Absolutely. All right, we've got a problem here. I just see I need to, and I want to show you when I go back into the course content. So I need to fix this syllabus. In this class, this was true. Any of you took Cal 1 or Cal 2 with me, this is true. But in the Cal 3 here, we only have 8 quizzes. So actually, it's best 5 out of 8, not 6 out of 10. All right, dang, I can't believe I missed that. So the 3 are being dropped. But the basic format of this grade thing is right. So your best 5 quiz scores makes up what's called your quiz average. So we take, I look at you have 3 exams and the quiz average, and the lowest of those 4 is dropped. So for most people, the quiz average will be beneficial to you. If it's not, maybe because usually somebody did real high, really well on all the exams, and the quiz average is just a little bit lower. So it is possible that the quiz average is dropped. For most people, though, that won't be the case. You'll probably use it to replace an exam that either you do poorly on, or sometimes people don't take an exam. That's, well, of course, be careful. That usually happens more in the 3rd exam. Because that way, if you already have 2 established exams and you have an established quiz average, then you kind of know where you stand. Although, if you don't take exam 3, pay careful attention to study that material, because it's the most challenging part of the course, and it will be on the final. So while you don't have to take that exam, you still have to know that material. So just keep that in mind. So if a student, I got to be careful. Like if a student asks me, okay, you're dropping the lowest exam, I have to be careful how I answer that, because that's not necessarily true. That's only if you have a quiz average to replace it. So what I mean by that is you can't skip an exam and also not do the quizzes both. So in other words, I don't like to say, yes, I'll drop an exam, because that makes it sort of sound like it's dropped no matter what. It's replaced with the quiz average. So let me know if that's confusing anyway or not. So yeah, I don't like to just blanketly say, okay, yeah, I'm dropping an exam. Okay, great. I can not take an exam and I can skip these quizzes. So no, it's just exam 1, exam 2, exam 3, quiz average. The best 3 out of those 4, whichever one are the best, makes 75%. And then the final, that's not one of the dropped ones, as it says right here. That's 25%. So basically everything's 25% each here. So that's all right. Okay, letter gray. Now I scratched this out because it was my intention. They're starting to allow proctored exams more in the testing center, but something's wrong with our contract with ProctorU. In other words, I have to be able to give an opportunity for students to take a test if they're remote. You know, ProctorU does have a fee, but it means anybody can take a test from anywhere, which hasn't been an issue for me in the past. People that have taken these calculus classes with me have gladly used ProctorU if they weren't going to be in the area or whatever. But anyway, because I would give the option of taking the test in a Lone Star testing center for free, and also I allow other universities testing centers, but they'll often choose a fee. And then I have this ProctorU. But since ProctorU is not an option, I mean, it's not fair to make some people take proctor exams and some not. So I just kind of put the strike through on this right now, because this would have been true if ProctorU would have been available. I would have had the final proctored this semester, because all before COVID, you know, my exams, I think exam 1, I believe I always allowed as a take home. But so let's say 2, 3, and the final would have required proctoring in the past, and probably will again, but not this term. So I just kind of left a scratch through there, and they will not be proctored, but however, they'll be, you know, timed, and you'll be taking it under the, you know, it's not, you know, you won't see the questions in advance or anything, but you'll take it, and you'll have a certain time limit to finish it. Okay, well, I don't think I'm going to read all these. Maybe I should check to see if there's any mistakes, but by all means, if you... Yeah, so this is still wrong again about the quizzes, about how many are being dropped. So I think problem was to make this new syllabus, I think I borrowed my Cal 2 syllabus, so I didn't proof that carefully with those quizzes, because I wanted to get that business about the proctored exams in there and the strikeout and all that. So, all right, so I got to fix that here too. The exams will be multiple choice. I believe give you more information. I believe the first 3 have 20 questions, and the final has 25, which is the same as for anyone that took my Cal 2 class. All right, so I'll just let you look through there and just come to me with questions. Now, this page right here is kind of a tentative course outline. I don't really want to call it a calendar, because your calendar is going to have actual due dates. They wanted us to start doing this a couple of years ago, or even a little pre-COVID, and I thought it was a good idea because students seem to want to request that. I'm going, that's fine, but notice there's no dates. This is just to sort of give you an outline of pacing yourself through the course. You can actually work ahead, which is kind of hard to do in a short course, but you can, because when I get to the quizzes and stuff and show you that everything is actually open, everything, so you just have to submit it by a certain deadline, but you certainly can submit things before that deadline. So like I said, this is just strictly an optional thing to sort of pace yourself. You know, kind of, you don't want to fall too far behind, especially with due dates and stuff. But so that's all this is for. There's nothing that's has to be done in a specific date based on this page alone. That'll be somewhere different. So there we go. All right. Okay, you can skip this. All right, bunch of registration dates. Skip this. All right. And I think that'll take care of the highlights of the syllabus here, which I need to make a brief repair to on those quizzes. So I guess I could pause the video and do it right now, or that's all right. I'll fix it as soon as we're done with this. Actually, I think I will pause it right now and fix it. Okay. Oh, wrong screen. Okay, I've redone the syllabus here, so let's just take a quick peek. For that error about the quizzes, I fixed it in both places. Let's see if I can scroll down without downloading it this time. Just, we're only looking for one thing here. No. Okay, I Could not get this file to convert back to PDF, so I was able to put it in here as a Word file, and it looks like it's okay. Just to scroll down again to show what was fixed. Okay, so now you can see the quiz average will be the best 5 out of 8. I was wrong up here. This is actually correct. The lowest of the 4 scores will be dropped. That was referring to this, not the quizzes. It's just this sentence that was wrong. It's 5 out of 8, not 6 out of 10. And then it's fixed again down here. Yeah, 8 quizzes. 3 will be dropped. Best 5 to form a quiz grade. So that's now fixed. Let's go back and hit a few other items in this folder that obviously, you can just check these anytime you want. This list of problems for the final exam. This is, it just tells you the type of question that's going to be asked. So it just kind of narrows down your study for you. You don't have to worry about that right now. And it tells you the section from the book I'm about to show you where it comes from. Okay, but yeah, it tells you the section over to the right. What it does, it just gives you the problem description without actually giving the problem itself. So no, you're not able to work the final exam questions in advance, but you're able to know what's going to be asked. Okay, so let's see. Now I'm going to scroll back down to the bottom of this when I mentioned earlier about textbooks. My notes, lectures, and everything are based on, like I said, you can study out of any book you want, but it's based this file called Other Resources. It's several editions old calculus book. It's an old Larson 9th. It takes a while to load up, obviously, and you can either view it through here or you can try to download it. It probably takes a lot of space to download it, but I'm sure it's not that bad. Anyway, so yeah, there we go. So that's kind of what everything I've got going follows this, so you're certainly welcome to use this. Okay, let's see what we got here. Practice problems. These are not to be collected, but this is essentially you can think of as homework type questions. I'll show you exactly what has to be submitted here in a minute. It's not this, but I always like to have a suggested list of problems. And there they are. Oh, it's kind of incomplete here. This list, there needs to be some from some other sections there. Okay, what? Oh, 14.8. That's what's missing. So, okay, I can fix that later. Like say all that. So this, like say, for example, exam 3 is really going to be 14.1 through 14.8. All right. So let me add those in there. We got plenty. Well, I know this class moves fast, so I don't want to wait too long, but it's not like I have to get it done today or anything. But so I'll go back and add that then. But that's some practice problems. And I have this testing center. You don't have to worry about Khan Academy if you want to watch other videos. This web link is for those problems above. Choose the book. It has solutions. So this is the 9th edition. So you see there's that same cover. And sort of like it's one of those printed solution manuals, similar to, it's just not printed. So, you could pick a chapter 12, whatever, section 1, exercise 19. I don't know if that's even on my list or not, but I just was picking numbers up there. So, now granted, these things aren't perfect. You can still ask me questions. I know in Cal 2 in the spring, versus online versus my face-to-face classes. Yeah, it kind of, some of the solutions, left some things out, so it's perfectly fine to ask me questions about it. But it's better than just the answer only, I'll say that. Well, in most cases, sometimes it made things more confusing than necessary, but that's all right. But that's just a resource for you there. So if you want to try some of those, you can. And the last couple things in here, we've got some formulas, which you obviously you can have those as reference and whatever you need to reference. Some trig book, trig sheet if you need that as a reference. Example of D2L quiz entry. I'm going to show you that here in a minute, but this is just showing you here's a file you can go back and look at again yourself. And then also how to review your quiz and exams. I'll talk about that, but once again, if you forget or whatever, you can come back and look at this. Both of these are real short PDF files, are not very long. Quick and easy, so those are always there for you to refer to. So that takes care of this folder. Let's go to lecture notes. And I have them all organized by exam. Now what this last block also, there's more sections here. I got to fix that homework list up. I forgot there's 3 more sections there we now cover. But anyway, these first 3 and these problems are part of they're not the entire final, but they're part of the final, but they're not on one of the regular exams. So see everything in this folder will be exam. So everything in there is exam 1. So you know exactly what the test is going to be over. Exam 2. And there, exam 3. So there's 14.8. And then these 4, like I said, belong to the final, but not the third exam. So there's a little bit of gap in there. And I've got some old Cal 1 and Cal 2 notes you can use as reference if you like. And even some pre-calculus notes. So there's all my lecture notes for you. Okay. And so I won't bother opening any of those. Lecture videos. Okay. So basically these are my personally created videos that match up with my notes. So, if you can figure it out from the notes, that's great. But these are here. I think these will be pretty helpful. They're not super long because most of them I kind of do where I just, instead of writing the problem out, I just kind of move the cursor along and explain it as I go and show you where I am in the problem. That makes the videos a lot shorter. Once again, you can always ask me about anything. That's what I'm here for. So I've got videos for all that. And so before I talk about the quizzes, I'll come down here. Exam reviews and solutions. So what we have here is I have PDF files. Where you can just, open up the PDF file. And these, like I said earlier, and I'll make an announcement about this, but I'd mentioned that each of the 3 exams will have 20 questions and the final will be 25. So don't worry about if you see like 60 problems on a review. Doesn't mean the exam will be that long. So I'll click on this real quick. And I think there's a key at the end of it or whatever also too. So good to try to practice these, but then, let's say if you get stuck on things, like let's see how many are on this one. Probably a lot because there are a lot of sections, but I don't know, it could be, like I said, but the tests aren't only 40? Okay. Figured there'd be more, but anyway. So let's take a look at, go back up here. And solutions mean, like I said, I think that sample problems thing will have answers at the bottom, but solution means my handwritten solutions. Some of these don't require a lot of... The beginning of this course is actually pretty easy. That's okay. Gets off to a good start. I'm sure a lot of people have probably said that this class they think is easier than Cal 2, and until you get to the last part. I mean, the multiple integration's the challenging part here, but this is easy. But anyway, not a lot of work, but you see there is some sort of work. So obviously you want to try the problems as much as you can to the best of your ability, and then when you get stuck, come to this. Okay. So we've got that down there for all 3 exams, and I believe there's a separate one for the final. Here I broke it up into 2 separate videos. Evidently there's some additional problems for sample exam 3. I have 2 sets of problems. I don't know why I felt like adding more. I don't know. All right, that's all right. And there's the final ones for the final. Of course, for the final, you're only concerned about the problems that are on that list I showed you earlier as far as the list of problems. So, yeah, there's likely to be questions on that review that come from the course content. They're part of the course, but if they're not specifically on that list of problems, you can kind of skip them. And same thing here. Very good. So also, let's look at this. Video solutions. And what these are, they are videos of my written explanation. I showed you the solutions a minute ago where I wrote those problems out. This is also a verbal description of those solutions. So, yeah, sometimes you look at it, I write something out there and it might be a little off. And that's the good thing about this, though, is you don't have to watch the entire video. You can just scroll to whatever problem you're looking at. But then maybe you hear me say something verbally in the description that gives you a key. Oh, okay, that's what this means. That sort of thing. And then once again, you can ask. But yeah, so that might, you don't have to necessarily watch this entire video unless you want to. But you can just pick out problems that are giving you trouble, and then you can hear me say it if the written solution is not good enough. So you have all kinds of resources there for you. I think everything's pretty well organized, I feel, by each exam, and at least people have told me that or whatever, but all right. Not too many things to have to navigate either as far as finding stuff. Quizzes, let's go back to this and explain how the quizzes work. I mean, exams are pretty straightforward. You just, you start the exam. I'll give you the passwords and everything, and then you start the exam, and usually they're about 3-hour time limits or something like that, and you just take the exam, submit the answers. But this is a little different because, a quiz can have a couple different meanings. So these are more like, I guess you could sort of say they're homework sets more than quizzes, because quizzes you might think of being in sort of real time. In other words, like the exam. The exam's in real time because you're taking it. Boom. When you open the exam, that's when you take it. This is a little bit different. The quizzes are PDF files with problems on them. That's why nothing is book dependent in this class, because this is all you're submitting. You're not submitting homework from a textbook, although I would recommend practice is good, like, any math instructor would. But this is what you're actually submitting for the grades. That's why it's not coming from a book. They're just questions here. So I'm telling you, this quiz 1 is 11. These all have 10 problems, I believe. Every one of them has 10. So what you do is you go through, you work these out, and obviously you can work them out a little at a time as you're going through each of the sections. You work them out, get all your answers, you save your answers, and then before the deadline, you go into D2L and submit your answers, which I'll show you that here in a minute. So you don't submit this. You don't submit the paper part of this at all. Just kind of work them, keep it for your reference, obviously, because that way if you work something and then, hey, I missed this one of this quiz, can you see where I went wrong, sort of thing, or whatever. Yeah, and then we can talk about that. But you don't submit your work. You just submit your answers. So here they are, blah, blah, blah. 10, okay. So you want to get all these done. And of course, obviously you can, I wouldn't use guessing as a strategy, but let's just say, you felt good about 9 of them and wasn't sure about another one. Well, yeah, put an answer in there and take a chance. You might guess and get lucky. Don't leave any blank, I guess, obviously is what I'm saying. But guessing is not a good strategy for all of the problems. But yeah, don't feel like, oh, well, I got 9 out of 10. I only submit those answers, and I just won't put anything for the one I couldn't figure out. Go ahead and guess. So there's how it works. You work them all out. That's why they're more like homework sets than they are quizzes. I just never have bothered to change the name. I just keep them as quizzes. So, all right, here we go. Oh, this is actually from I'm still in my mode. Not that it matters. Nothing matters, but view a student. Okay, so it shouldn't look any different, obviously, not too much, but still would see everything. So that's how you would look at a quiz. All right. So here's what you do. When you're ready to submit it, so you see here's the date. You have to open it up. I think that they're set for like 60 minutes, which is more than enough time because all you're doing is just... Now, you want to be careful when you put your answers in there. Yeah, you want to be really careful because I don't do this on purpose. I don't know what happens, but sometimes it won't change any numbers or anything like that, but sometimes it scrambles the answers on some of the problems. So just be super careful when you're going through there and when you're entering your answers. So, for example, if you work a problem, and you correctly deduce that the answer is 27.5, whatever, and that's answer A. But you go to the quiz, and 27.5 happens to be answer C. Well, then you bubble answer C based on the 27.5. So but 60 minutes gives you plenty of time to do that. It still won't take you more than probably 5 minutes to do it anyway, but just go, slow enough where, like, if the quiz, quiz A, B, C, D, B, B, blah, 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 don't just automatically bubble them the same order in here is all I'm saying. Okay, so when you're ready, you'll click Start Quiz. Don't click on this till you're ready to submit all of your answers. But you got to open that, before the deadline. So like I said, here you go. This could be, these answers could be in different order on the PDF file. But they're not changing numerically. They're the same answers. They have to be. So you go through all this, and I won't solve these. I'll just obviously this isn't going to be a very good score because I'm just randomly bubbling. That's not what you do, but just pretend like, just to show you how the submission process goes. So you're just going to go through there, and it's showing me over to the left where it has a check mark for each one that's submitted. Yeah, so I'm literally putting no effort into figuring these out. Yeah, notice I'm always watching, it says angle and radians. So that just means when you do these, just check your mode on your calculator to make sure you're in degree or radians. Easy mistake to make. Happens to the best of us. So like I said, some problems may be radians, some may be degrees. They won't be mixed up in the same problem, but it kind of needs to tell you in the instructions. All right, so there we go. Okay, so that's how you enter them. Then, okay, it's letting you know you got them all answered. So it would, if you didn't have one answered, it would show you, 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10. Submit quiz. 4 out of 10, 40. So obviously you're going to do a lot better than that. There's how you do it. All right. Now I can see this here. I'm not sure for you. Maybe it's different, but it's supposed to be set up to where, this may be because I'm the instructor. It shows it right here. I have these set up to be that they'll display 1 hour after the deadline. So I know that's kind of frustrating. Let's say you submit it the day before. You get a 90. You want to know which one is missed. So it will be available, and then it'll stay open the rest of the term 1 hour after that deadline, not 1 hour when you take it, 1 hour after the deadline. But then you'd click on this one. We'll show you how you actually get to this from the quiz menu. All right, so I made a 40, but that's all right. I'm sure I'll try harder on the next one. So here's what you do. Here's what you'll do. So here you go to quizzes. And like I said, you see the deadline. Yeah, so in other words, this won't be available, the first one, until the 21st at 1 a.m. and then any time afterwards. But here's what you do, because you click on the blue thing to take the quiz. But that won't work to view the quiz, because you're going to click on that and nothing's happened because you'd already taken the quiz. So here's what you do. It's this drop-down arrow right next to it. Submissions. So you'll click on submissions, and then it probably says, it'll show your attempt. Then you click on attempt, and then you'll be able to see exactly everything you answered. And if you missed one, you know which one you missed and what the right answer was supposed to be, and that sort of thing. So that's once you get that process down, and if you've taken my classes before, you'll already know that process. All right, so we're thinking should be done here. Let me look. That's the main thing. We hit quizzes, and like I said, all right. Now this is all right. I guess it doesn't show. I'm looking at your point of view. Let me go back to the home page. Okay, it's usually my point of view. It shows the quiz due dates right here, but let me look at it. But the bottom right, you see. Okay, it's going to have all calendar dates right here, but you have to keep. I guess you can keep scrolling down, to see all of them. But well, I'm not used to doing this from your point of view. Well, now it thinks I've done quiz 1 already. Everything is open now, so it thinks it's just showing you. But it's got it's got this range of dates. I don't know how you change that. I'd like for it to be able to show the entire. I mean, you probably can figure this out better than I do. Let me go back and show you what I mean from my point of view. All right, so it's showing the debt. Yeah, it's showing all these dates. Like here, and I guess you could go back even farther, so I can click show more. I'm not sure why I didn't do that in the student mode. Let me show you this in case you wanted to freeze the video and take a picture of this. Also, the same. I can see it. See, notice how I can see it right here. I can go. It shows all the dates right there. So I'll go through here real slowly and carefully. Yeah, I don't like. I mean, I guess. I guess showing the upcoming dates is good enough. I guess what's going to be in the immediate future doesn't have to. But I think it's better if you can look at the entire term. I don't know. That's just me. But anyway, all right. I'll get back out of this, and I think we're about done here. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. I'll pop right back in here. All right. And let me just double check the content folder. When I clicked on log out, I was thinking log out as instructor becoming a student. All right. So I think that's everything. I wanted to cover everything else first and save the quizzes for last. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. So, well, obviously, contact me if there's anything you're not sure about. But a lot of times I'll get questions from people that I know they didn't watch the video. Sometimes, but if you did watch it, you still may have questions. Don't get me wrong, but they'll, something I blatantly said in here, and they'll ask me about it, and I'll say, hey, please watch the video. So I think that's going to conclude this video. I think we're going to have a fun little 5 weeks or so, 5.5 weeks or whatever it is. So Cal 3, here we come.